Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. Ooh, it's cold out there today, guys. My goodness, is the 16th of January 24, and here in Michigan it's about 3 degrees out right now. So good times. Good day for some coffee. I got nice and toasty out here tonight, so it's good stuff. Yeah, so Sunday I sat and watched everybody's USACC builds. Well, not everybody's. I watched a lot of them. Let's go that route. I was on the computer most of the day. It was just cold, nasty out, and I thought, I'm not even going to leave the house. We're just going to sit in and kick back and just watch some videos. And man, you guys, just amazing jobs out there. My goodness, there's so many cool builds. Unbelievable. And it's so cool to see all the different variations and varieties out there and everybody's twist and take on these things. Really neat, really neat. Very good build, very good group build. So with that being said, I had a few people comment on the struts on the tonneau cover I made for the kit I had built. And the tonneau cover was kind of always in the plans, but to make it lift with the little hydraulics on the back, they're not actually hydraulic, it's just a static strut. That was a last minute thing. I thought, that looks sweet. If I could open that, that'd look really cool. So I've had a few people ask how I built that. So I thought I'd show you a quick video on how I made the tonneau cover and the struts. Very simple. The struts don't work. I wish they did. I actually thought about doing some kind of small spring setup in there so it'd raise it, but I wasn't sure how to do the latch down part and make it hinge and everything. I thought, yeah, maybe next time. We'll have to think on something like that, but I thought it'd be pretty cool. Other than that, I'll take you over the bench. Pretty simple setup. So along the video here, you're going to see kind of bits and pieces, because as I was making the tonneau cover, I was going to include this into my final reveal of the truck, but it just ran way too long. So in this video, you're going to see the truck kind of in process at some points and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so nothing major, but anyways, let's take you over to the bench and let's get started on this. Okay guys, so real quick, like I say, the tonneau cover was just a quick, easy fix. So we're going to show you how we're going to put this together quick. Like I say guys, it's kind of a simple design. So I'm going to take this off here. This just lifts up. And you can see the prop rods in there. So underneath the tonneau cover, I made some pieces here. You'll see in the video. So these pieces here, this is what the strut will basically mount against. And the struts actually are just a piece of styrene, and these pull out of here. So just lift out, like so. And these are just a piece of styrene, just a styrene rod. I drilled a hole in the end of it and used some music wire and put in the center. Painted them with some Tamiya Italian red. Now what holds them in the truck, let me get a different view on it here maybe. So the bed is a little rough looking. That's my main reason, because I had some issues with the build. Didn't quite go my way, so that's where we ended up. So this is aluminum tubing. So you can see the tubing goes all the way down to the bottom. And I'll tell you what guys, the biggest hassle I had was trying to put this in here with the angle, because I'm trying to hold the tonneau cover down and choose a desired angle and have these angled up at the right spot to stay in there. So what I did is I took that tube, put in there, and then I put a crimp about a 1/4 inch down, just a little crimp with some pliers, so that way there it holds the tube, or holds the strut, and it only goes down so far. So that's as far down as it'll go. So like I say, pretty simple. I mean, very simple, but the aesthetics of it and the look, it looks pretty good. So we'll take you over and we'll show you how we got started on this. So before we get started, these items we're going to need. This here is the plain 90/40 styrene sheet. This just comes one piece. Well, actually 2 pieces in a kit. Just a nice heavy 40 thousandths thick styrene. This is basically the bottom of the tonneau cover. And then this strip here, this is what the sides are made out of. This is item number 146. The front of the tonneau cover, which was just designed specifically for this truck to go across the top of the tailgate. And then I notched it with a hobby knife, measured it several times. That was this piece here. And then the crossbows had these pieces were made, and this is 8404 HO scale lumber, basically like 4x4 pieces. And then I used another piece of styrene sheet, which I have no idea what size it was. I didn't have the package for it. It was real thin like paper, and that was for the top. Now the struts were made from these two guys here, plus another piece of styrene tubing. So the piece that is glued into the truck is this piece here. This is the KNS 1/8 by 0.04 aluminum tubing, and this is the piece I put in the truck. So what I did is, once that was in the truck, this is just a demonstration piece. So say this was the depth of the piece here, and what I did is I just took and just put a crimp in it like this, just a light crimp, nothing major. And then once you slide the tube in, it stops at that crimp. So that's how I come up with that. And like I say, I took a piece of styrene strip tubing, just some round stock. I do not have the size of that. I apologize for that. I just had a piece of stranded piece laying around here, and it just happened to be long enough. So I cut that, took my pen drill, just took a drill, drilled a hole in the end of the styrene, and then I just took and cut a piece of this music wire here. This is 0.020, item number 5499, and cut a little piece, drilled into that styrene, and then I just stabbed a piece in the side there, made sure they was both the same size, and put a little tack of glue in there, let it dry, and then I painted it with some Tamiya LP21. So that's how the shocks were made. Very simple, very easy. So we'll take you over and I'll show you how the tonneau cover is made. Let's get started. So I measured some pieces out here. So this is going to go across the back tailgate, and I want this piece to sit up against the other piece right on top. So I need two of these. So if you guys don't have one of these things, if you do a lot of like custom work, these are awesome. A lot of model railroad guys use this. It's called the Chopper 3. You just put a razor blade in here. They're made by Northwest Shortline, and they're really nice for duplicating stuff. So so I already got this piece made here. So you just put it up against the blade, and then you got this piece here. So if I was making a ton of these, this worked great, because you can just spin this down, tighten this down here, and then you can make yourself multiple pieces. So that's tight there. So I take this out, put another piece in there, and it cuts a pretty nice straight line every time, like so. And now I have two pieces that are right on the money. Yeah, so it cuts pretty good. So I'm gonna get a few more pieces made. Okay guys, so we got ourselves a little frame made up. So I added some extra pieces here for supports. So I got that guy, and I numbered them just in case I'm a little bit off. So those will fit just nicely in there. And if you guys always want to, I get these little blocks here. These are machinist blocks, and I tell you what, they work nice for when you're, I put this on the inside obviously, so when you're squaring stuff up, you can keep it nice and square. These are pretty handy. You can get these, I think even like, I think craft stores sell these, I think. Not 100%, but I know you can get them at a lot of auto parts stores. They're just a nice straight machinist block. They're nice to have. So I'm going to get these straightened out and get these kind of uniform, and that'll be the frame for the tonneau cover. So this works out good, because this here, my table, sometimes these cutting mats are handy. So I can put that there. Now I can use that for a guide to level those up. So it's about centered there. I'll just center these up with this, roughly, something like that. Something like that anyways. And we'll go through and just glue her down. Let that dry for a second. We should have a nice frame for a tonneau cover. And after that, we're going to put some bows on it. I used to do a lot of scratch building for railroad stuff, so it's nice. Scratch building is pretty fun with the styrene strips, especially if you got the right tools for it. I used to have this nipper that you could use to cut windows. I have no idea where that went. A lot of this stuff too you can get off from Micromark's website. I'll put a link in the description below, so it's a pretty cool place to get some cool stuff, especially if you're going to do a lot of custom building, duplicate stuff. I mean, they got a lot of neat stuff down there. Alright, we'll let this dry for a minute and I'll bring you back. Alright guys, so we got our frame glued together. That turned out pretty cool. So pretty neat. So we're going to put some bows in it. You know how some tonneau covers had the bows across the back? So we're using HO scale 4x4 post. This is 8404. And what it is, I cut a couple of these. So what we're going to do is put the bow on top of the support. And the main reason the support's in there, so when we put the plastic over it, it's not going to like pull it in. So what it is, I took a couple of these. And the nice thing about this, I want just a little bow in it. And this plastic is so easy to manipulate. You can just take it like this and just bend it and just pull it. And now it's got a bow to it. And it stays like that. That's all I did to get that. So I did two of them, did the same thing. And there's my arch. Simple as can be. So at this point I'm going to do, this is the top. So my arches are pretty close to the same. So what I want to do is I want this a little more flat on the side. So I'm going to take a sanding stick and sand this edge down just a little bit, just so it's a little more flush. This can be a little challenging. Of course I feel like I'm a little challenged anyways. Just a little edge so when it goes down it sits more flat, so it's not like that, just that hump of plastic. This is kind of a first time for me, so I'm kind of learning this as I go. So before you bend this, I would sand it down first. But you can see my bends coming out of it, which isn't a big deal. Because here's the deal, once we put this in, we're going to put a little piece in the middle to help hold it up. So it'll help that out a lot. So we're going to sand that down pretty much like that. Just give a little extra edge on it. Plus it'll give you more of a surface to glue to versus just the edge of the plastic. Because you know, if you glued it down on an angle, you're just going to glue on that top piece. Now you're going to be able to glue a little more on the flat side. Give you a little more help there. This part might not be necessary. I don't know. I just figured probably help it out some. So it's pretty equal. The other side's not 100%. It's like, say, just kind of give it another little back and forth. Kind of like, you know, people take a ribbon with scissors and you make it curl. It's kind of the same effect. So I'm going to set that guy there. That'll be bow number 1. And we'll do the same thing to this guy. Okay, I got that sand down, so do the same thing. Just give it a little back and forth. And then we're going to set these on here. We're just going to give them just a touch of glue. So we're going to put them somewhat even. Yeah, we're going to try that. Should have been to the edge. I have no idea. Maybe. Okay, we'll get our other one in there. This one's obviously a lot longer for some reason. What did you do, Richard? Okay, either I broke a piece off when I was sanding that. Let me pull this back up while we still can. I'll get this other piece on, we'll go from there. Alright guys, so now we got this glued down. As you can see, we got little bows in there. Just a little bit. So to keep them upright when we put the plastic down, I took the same piece here and I'm just going to slide these in like so. That'll be the height of the bow. Like so. Put it in the middle. Make sure it's not too much. I don't think that's too bad. We'll put those in the center. What I need to do is cut those down the same width so if they do stick a little past, it won't show up on the plastic. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. That'll help us out get started here. that up. Make sure it's sitting the right way. That's pretty much in the center, it looks like. I'll give us a nice little bow for the middle. Two bows. They'd be perfectly the same height. Okay, we'll let that dry for a minute and I'll show you how this sits in the truck. I had such an issue with this because my frame is really twisted on this, and I tell you what, this did not go together at all. So we're going to set that right in there like so. That sits in there pretty nice. So now we're going to wrap this with some plastic. Okay guys, so now we got our frame put together. So we're going to take this piece here, kind of stiffen it up. This is 40 thousandths styrene sheet. And I'm going to take and put it on the bottom side here. And that's going to fit right up in there. And I'm going to keep it on the edge so it still fits within my box. Get that in there, we'll glue her down, and we'll get some plastic put on it. Alright guys, so now I got this glued down. So you can see the edge of that is on the edge. So we're good to go. So now I'm taking this really thin styrene sheet. I have no idea what thickness this is, but this is like, you can almost see through it. It's super thin. Now what we're going to do is cut this out, and you can put on here. And then we're going to glue it down around the corners. And we'll see how she looks from there. Okay, a small adjustment. So we got too far. I actually took and trimmed those back. Just a little bit. Still got our risers in there. So now we're going to take and glue this. We're going to pick an edge. And this isn't cut 100% because that bow is going to change that a little bit. So I'm going to start in the front corner, or towards the back of the truck. I'm actually going to overhang it just a little bit. Okay, see the sides are puckered up a little bit, so we'll let the edges tack up and then we'll come back and hit those sides. This stuff kind of dries out quick, so I kind of didn't think I'd be able to make it all the way around. So we'll just do one side at a time here. So I'm take one of my little clamps here at the edge. Another one over here. Make sure it bites down good. We'll do the same thing over here. Grab a couple more clamps. I'm putting it just right at the edge of it. Okay, we'll let that set for a minute. Once that dries up, we're going to put the hair dryer in a little bit. We'll see if we can soften that plastic and let it conform to that. We'll see how that goes. So we'll let this set and we'll be back. Alright guys, so we got our piece glued down. So now we're kind of like a drum here basically. So I glued down pretty good. It's got little dimples there, which is alright. So it's puckered a little bit there, so I'm going to have to re-glue that. So I want to just make sure everything's tight all the way around. So this here, not a big deal. So we'll just hit this again. Like so. And we'll clamp that back down just for a few minutes. Okay, we'll give that a few seconds. And what we're going to do is take the hair dryer and see if we can't melt that in just a little bit, just to give us a little more definition here. I think that'll look pretty good. And then I'll see, I kind of like to fold this over just a little bit, especially in the back. I'll see how that works with the hair dryer. I'll heat that up a little bit and I'll see if I can fold this just a little bit. I think that'll look pretty good. Well, this looks like it's pretty dry all the way around. I think we're going to be good. So like I said, we're going to take the hair dryer to it and just give it a light. I don't know how this is going to go, so I'm going to be careful with it. See if that did anything to it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to do before I paint that, I was going to fold this over, but I don't know, it's going to be pretty tight to fold that. So I might score it first and see if it folds over. Let my mat cool down because I got a nice little bubble in it. Because either way, if this don't work, I'm just going to cut it anyways. So if I give it a nice little score, I should be able to bend it over pretty easy. Like so. Kind of like just that look, you know, that lip out the back. I think that's kind of cool looking too. I might just leave it like that. Of course, it'd been nice if I would have trimmed up a little more even, but I can still fix that. So I'm going to do is fold this all around, and maybe I'll trim this before I do. The back I'm not going to fold, I'm just going to cut that off flush. And I think I'll straighten this out a little bit, and I'll get that cut down straight. I'll make sure the sides are straight, and I'm going to fold all the edges, and then we'll take it over and paint it. So let me get this cut up and folded, and I'll bring you back. Okay guys, so we got that cut around there pretty good. It's pretty even, it looks like. It's like they're just going to do a light score across here. I don't want to go through it, just score it. Score both sides. We already scored the back, so should be good. Now I'm just going to take and just easy roll it over. Give it a try here, see how she does. I might do is nip that corner. So that looks pretty cool. It's got the rolled edges on it. Maybe I'll leave those corners flush. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So now it's got the rolled edges. So now we're going to do is paint it. I think she'll look pretty good. So we're going to paint this with a satin. I keep calling it satin. It's semi-gloss black. Get this folded down a little bit more. Make sure it's good. I don't know if I want to glue it or not. I think I'll just leave it. I think the fold will be alright. I see I'm going too much there. It's starting to cut right there. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right there just to keep it from ripping any further. Whoops. That stuff will happen. Like I say, I'm just experimenting with this. It's a first for me doing this. Okay, weld her back together. Like so. And we'll get her painted. Alright, I'm going to take it over to the paint booth, and like I said, I'm going to paint it with the Tamiya semi-gloss black LP5, and we'll bring you back and we'll see how she looks. Alright guys, so we painted it, and on the back side, being this is going on my 55 Ford, I made some spots before I painted. I did all this work, and I'll tell you what, this took me longer to do this than it did to build the thing. So I have, I'm like everybody else, I need to get a pointer. So I made these here. These are stops, and this is a stop here and here. So when it's on the truck, it can't move around. I made stops here so it can't slide sideways. So then we painted it, and I put a Ford logo on the top because I had one laying around. So that's actually still kind of wet. So I thought that turned out pretty cool for a quick, easy tonneau cover. And like I say, you can still see the sides. Has a nice edge to it. It's got your overhang. So not too bad. Pretty quick and easy. So pretty simple. Thought that turned out pretty cool. So yeah, so we'll get her on the truck, and we'll do a big reveal on the Usacc build. Alright guys, that'll wrap up the video on the building a tonneau cover. Like I say, kind of not too bad of a deal. Kind of quick and easy, I guess. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys have not been, go down and check out Hobby Nut Models. All the paints for this project come down from there. and check out his inventory and get yourself some. So once again, I appreciate it, and thanks for tuning in. We will see you on the next video. Have a good one.